Welcome to episode 58 of Live with the Glitter Practitioner, and I'm beaming because I remembered what episode it was today. Thank you for joining me, and do let me know in comments where you're all tuning in from, be it live, be it on #replay. Thank you for joining me. I'm very excited today. I actually thought I was quite calm and collected, but I'm extremely happy because Russ Hedge, my amazing big brother and fabulous producer, got some phenomenal news at the weekend as I'm sure most of you probably know, he's been going through a lot with his cancer treatments and it's contained, and I couldn't be happier. So I just really needed to share that because I've been bouncing up and down in my chair. Right. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Nupi, the Glitter Practitioner. I'm a family physician, a GP in the UK. I'm also a spiritual and transformation life coach. I'm also a speaker and soon to be published author. And I am absolutely passionate about sharing and showing others, be it patients, be it my clients, how to really recognize their whole self-health needs, mind, body, and soul, and learning how to almost decipher the body's signals. What's our body telling us? And I guess showing people how to really tune in to themselves and be the bestest versions of themselves, which is my tagline, being you with bells on, which is your bravest, boldest, brightest, most badass self, because you deserve nothing less. And this is something I learned for myself through my own experience of burnout. It's how I became a burnout warrior 12, 13 years ago. And I guess all the knowledge, the skills, everything that helped me on my journey, which is still evolving, that's what I share through my F list and have used in clinical practice this last 10 years, combining this holistic model with the conventional disease-based medical model. And when you put the two together, that's when the healing really starts to happen. Know thyself, and you can understand your thoughts, your patterns of beliefs, all of these other things. Anyway, I think the best way to show you really what this might feel like is my beautiful brand story that was created by the incredibly talented Devon James Stinson, who has really captured the essence of what the F list, this framework, what does it do for you? How do you become whole again? And yeah, it's beautiful. So, big brother, may we have the brand story?
Follow the light through the storm. And this is not a light that warns, it's a light that forms on the pathway ahead. So you can maneuver around disaster instead of getting stopped by the obstacles. It just takes changing the obstacles. And then the impossible turns to possible. And then the storm lifts. You're no longer adrift. Breathe, focus, you've got this. Ahead you see a figure, a kind soul, and on the inside it feels like you might glow. Your endless cycles of cyclones have been turned to a breeze that just slightly blows. You're adorned with glitter, where you literally feel like a kid again. And this is when you realize how much of your life you've missed. And then you talk more with Dr. Nupi Aurora, who will holistically change your aura, where you and the new you won't be like strangers. No, you'll be like friends. Because this whole process is simply life-changing. So if you're feeling frazzled and you want to find your fizz and dazzle, then book a call with Dr. Nupi Aurora by messaging her right here on LinkedIn.
Oh, that was so lovely. I do love that. And I do love my little dance interpretation. I love it. I can see my guest just giggling away. So this is a first, actually. Part 3. I don't think I've ever done a part 3 before, so thank you. Come on down, David Hansen.
Hi, Dr. Nupi.
Hello, hello.
Tuning in today.
Oh, how are you?
Oh, really? So I am the only third person who's had a third visit? Wow.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Really
apart from obviously Russ, because he comes on every month, once a month.
Yes.
We always do the last week of the last Monday of every month. Oh my God, Lonnie made it from the beginning. Sorry, David.
Hi, Lonnie.
I know. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So apart from Russ, yes, you are. Yeah.
Wow. I'm honored.
Third timer.
Well, that's pretty cool. And well, I just love our conversations. Our conversation last time was a lot of fun, and
I was completely giddy. Are you crazy?
What's that?
Sorry, I totally spoke over you. Please go. Please go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that I learned last time that I was on your show, I learned all these wonderful things about you, that you're into Marvel superheroes, for example.
Oh gosh.
That makes me so happy. And you're like really into it. Like you're dialed in. And so that just made me love you all the more. So that was awesome. The whole Marvel superheroes thing going on that we had last time we talked.
Thank you. Bless you. Yeah, I kind of, when I really love something, love doing something, I just throw my whole heart in. I can't help it. It's very much, get as much as I can. But no, what I was saying at the beginning when I was interrupting you was I was very giddy, and I just remember just giggling my head off. But I am more contained today because I've not been as manically busy coming straight off clinics and doing all of this. So yes, much more sensible, I feel today.
That's good. I'm glad you had a break from clinic.
Today. I know. Thank you.
Yeah, last time you were a little bit slap happy, I think, because you were.
I know.
You know, at least you're doing what you love. You're doing work that you're passionate about, and that is so important, to do something that you absolutely love. But you've been putting in a lot of long hours.
I have, but you know what? I absolutely love. I love that, and I love this. And no matter how tired I might feel at the beginning, say, not today, just sometimes, and literally as soon as those drum beats start going, I'm like, yes, lights, camera, action, let's go. Yeah. I love it. I love doing this with you, with my other guests. It's just, it's fabulous. It feels really good. Lonnie's saying, oh, I thank you, Miss Lonnie. Yes, I did this before clinic today, and I was like, oh my God, if this headset, I shall show you, if this headset ruins my curls, I'm going to fucking flip. And it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't too bad. Anyway, so David, do we need to introduce you? Yes, maybe there might be people who are tuning in today who might not know who you are. So do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, sure. Yeah, I am founding a company for the first time in my life. I've always worked for other people. And so I am in the early stages of starting my own venture. It's called ZENZOOM Transformation. And it's all about transforming from the inside out. And so part of it is discovering your Zen and embarking on that journey within, that journey of self-discovery, self-realization, And it is the most fascinating, fulfilling journey of all to do that journey within. And that's a big part of it, is doing a deep dive into ourselves and exploring our beliefs about everything, exploring our beliefs about ourselves, exploring our spiritual beliefs. And it's very much a spiritual experience, but it's not religious. It focuses on universal spiritual principles that are found in all faiths. So no matter what your religion, or if you're like me, I don't have a religion per se. I don't belong to any organized religion. I used to, but I no longer do. So whether you have a religion or you identify more like how I identify myself, as being spiritual but not religious, that there's something there. There's something in ZenZoom transformation for you. And when we transform from within, that's the Zen. And then the Zoom is the positive ripple effect that occurs in all aspects of our life that come from that result from that inner transformation. And so that's part of what I'm doing with ZenZoom transformation. It's kind of a dream fulfillment for me that has laid dormant for a very long time, and I've only through a whole series of events has it been possible for me to be able to start this and to realize a dream that I've had, that I've kind of suppressed for so long. But I'm going for it.
Good for you, and too bloody right. Absolutely. Just from the way you write, the way you share aspects of healing, it's beautiful, and you were meant to do this. And I think when you find that, and when you are aligned with truly your passions, your values, your purpose, just the universe just literally, it just starts opening up. And I know that might sound really cheesy and a bit Pollyanna, or because it's not all fairies and light and all of this. It can be, but life is life. And I think when you're really true to yourself, and there was some great comments earlier by Andrew Stavrakakis. I hope I've pronounced your surname properly. Well, Andrew was saying earlier, it's all about oneness, and the most important relationship almost is with yourself, and that's crucial. Going inwards with that self-care, which is self-love, and that's extremely powerful. And you can fill yourself up, and that's your Zen bit. It's finding that inner peace. It's finding the things that light you up, what brings you joy, and keeping that as your compass. Hi, Constance. Hi, CJ. Thank you so much. Hi, Nicole. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being
here. But it's very powerful and not easy, I would say. And I know you've been through quite a lot as well. But it's almost showing other people, leading by example, I think, which is the most authentic thing you can do.
Yes. Sometimes our experience with our hardships, then we can, I'm loosely paraphrasing Brene Brown, that our survival story can be somebody else's survival guide.
Yeah.
And you're so right. That's a reason why I started ZenZoom transformation. Is personal transformation is an ongoing, unfolding miracle. We don't just arrive, unless you're maybe Jesus or Buddha. You don't just arrive. It's an ongoing unfolding. But it's so worth it. But it is not easy. And that's why I'm starting ZenZoom, is to help people through that process, because it most often, that spiritual awakening process, it usually, there's some kind of extreme hardship that is the catalyst for that. And it'll be different for different people. It could be a divorce or a loss, a major loss of some type. In my case, I lost my job. I was with my company almost 18 years. I was laid off at the apex of the pandemic. I've been with my company such a long time. I'd probably still be working there to this day if I wouldn't have been laid off. But they laid off a lot of the longer term employees in favor of newer, cheaper employees. And fortunately, I was already in my spiritual awakening process, and thank goodness I was, because it really has helped me, although it has been extraordinarily difficult. And if you think about what a caterpillar undergoes to become a butterfly, that is not easy. And that's a very good analogy for the spiritual transformation process. A big part of it is going into the cocoon. There's a lot of alone time involved in that spiritual process. And I'm an introvert, so I do alone time easier. In fact, I thrive on having alone time. I need alone time. I love people, but I also need to recharge. I recharge by having time alone. But for people who are extroverts, that must be extremely difficult for people who are extrovert to go through that alone time. But it is so worth it, and there's so much growth that comes from it.
I agree. I think, just like what you've said, I know I'm definitely more extrovert than I am introvert, but there is a part of me that I need that time for myself. And it's that gifting of time to self. So you can check in on yourself. You can have that downtime. And I think that's something I actively promote on my F list, as aspects of your own self-care, because without that, you're literally on autopilot, and you get you can be, even if, say, you're in a good space per se and you're loving what you're doing, which is great, but if you're constantly on the go without that pause time just to take a step back and to check in, you kind of miss those opportunities, and then you think you're doing okay, and then bam, something will happen and you're like, fuck me, what the hell just happened there? And then you recognize, oh, okay, right, yeah, I can see where this started to dip. And it's just being in tune. Lonnie said something earlier in the comments that, yes, you can be authentic to yourself in a good way. You can also be very authentic in your own hot mess situations, because you are living and breathing that negative shite and that encompassing fear-based energy and that reactive mode and that darkness. So how do you show people how to come through the hot mess cycles that happen?
Well, we do certainly have to do the shadow work and confront things that we may not want to look at, things that we may want to avoid. And so it does involve taking an honest look at ourselves in the mirror. Part of ZenZoom is also inspired by the yin yang symbol. And so, yes, you are dialed into the yin yang. We are so aligned. I'm not a physician, so I can't contribute on a medical level, but we're very aligned in in that whole person approach, and
Absolutely.
the need for balance. And that's another aspect of ZenZoom, is it's about balance. It's
Yeah.
inspired by the yin yang. And so there's the light and the dark, and it's acknowledging the light and the dark. We're all shades of gray, aren't we? And and so it's tuning into that, and acknowledging, having that awareness of that dark side of ourselves as well, and doing that shadow work, and facing fears.
Yeah.
I'm still a work in progress. I have not transcended fear. But that's really what courage is. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yes, it involves facing our fears, our
Yes.
negative self-talk and self-limiting beliefs, confronting, looking at things, it's not about blaming and shaming ourselves. That's not helpful at all. So it's not about blaming and shaming ourselves, but it's being aware so that we can make changes. If we're not aware that there's a problem, then we can't work on that. It's kind of like AA. The first step is to acknowledge that you have a problem, to acknowledge that you have an addiction. And
Yeah.
so it's looking at that, and it's only when we take responsibility that we can really grow or change. And it also requires us to have that awareness.
Try not to giggle because I just saw Lonnie's comment. I'm really trying to hold it together. Yes.
Yeah, you seem
I
like you're
was.
suppressing a laugh, so let it out.
No, I'm fine. It was anyway.
I missed it. What did Lonnie say that was funny?
No, because she caught the fact that when you said we aren't, where it's black, it's white, and it's actually, we're all really shades of grey. And I just started to giggle because of last time we were on together.
Uh-huh.
And Lonnie's going, there's Noopy taking shades of grey to giddy. And I'm like,
Yep.
she noticed. Okay. So, yes. And I was going to add to that and say, it's embracing your shadow self. And it's the ability also to alchemize that shadow, that darkness into light. It's part of you. It doesn't need to define you. And there's a big difference. And that doesn't just happen overnight. Sometimes these thoughts, these feelings can completely cripple you. It can keep you in this cage. But I guess the beauty about the mind is incredible. The beauty of of what we get to govern is us. And it's that ability to recognize it. It might take, a few times, a lot of times to recognize certain patterns and recognize the feelings that come up, the shit feelings as well as the good stuff. And it is integrating that, because it will also pass. But this cycle, this critter chatter that can just literally wreak havoc, I can't help it. Fuck them off. Focus, breathe, and flip. Look at it from a different perspective. And I think that is, it is addressing the shadow, but it's recognizing it for what it is and keeping things in balance. And I think this is with the breath, this is so powerful, so powerful. In fact, I was on a call with a patient who has chronic pain, fibromyalgia, and she's on lots of different painkillers and all of this. And yeah, okay, she needed medication. And I just did a little bit of F-listing, F-bombing down the phone, and just did some box breathing with her. And by the end of this consultation, it was probably 15, 20 minutes, if that. And I was like, tune in quickly. Where is the pain in your body now? And she was like, I don't feel anything. And I'm like, that is the power of your breathing. And that's the power of showing and sharing these techniques, these tools, these tips even. It's incredible. Okay. So do you have a little, like my go-to in those instances is for F1, F2, F3. Do you have anything specific that you share with patients, with clients?
Well, I don't know that I have anything akin to the F list in that way, but there are certain aspects of it that are essential. Again, it goes back to universal spiritual principles and going within. And so meditation is absolutely an essential part of it. I cannot imagine inner transformation without meditation. It's certainly changed my life. And so that's a huge part of it. Also, gratitude practice is another very important practice to live a happier, more fulfilling life, and also relates to the law of attraction, that the gratitude also activates the law of attraction in our lives also, and brings even more blessings, even more reasons to feel grateful into our lives. And so there are principles that I share with people, but not exactly something akin to F list such as you have.
But it's we're speaking the same language, and
We are.
I know when
We're
we've chatted,
we're really very,
and when we've chatted,
yes,
the things that you share and guide other people with, it's the same thing. It's just dressed up in a different way, but I think that's the unique thing. Each of us have our own fizz essence. I'm an F-bomb dropper. Good. I'm glad to hear it, Andrew. I love it.
Right.
So am I. And that's your unique fizz essence. So somebody might resonate with how I might be saying things or not, and that's fine. And same for you, and I think there's enough people around, and there's more than enough space for everybody to share their stories or their wisdom or passing it on to somebody else. And I think it's combining efforts and collaborating and connecting with like-minded souls, which makes that whole process so much easier, because otherwise you kind of think you're on your own.
You're making me think actually of Russ's show earlier this morning, because Russ was talking about that, how there's a bazillion coaches out there. Yeah. And so much of the material is the same subject matter.
Yeah.
But we each bring our own unique way of sharing it with people. There's a lot of motivational and inspirational teachers and speakers out there, but some resonate with me more than others. And likewise, just by being authentic and taking our own unique qualities to it, we're going to reach the people who are right for us.
Yeah.
Just like there's probably millions of singers, they could all sing the same song, but they bring their own unique interpretation of the song.
Yeah.
And so it is with the kind of work that we're doing. We're singing the same song, but we're bringing our own unique interpretation. Yes. We're expressing it in our own unique way.
Yeah, precisely.
And it's going to resonate with some people, some people like this singer and some people don't. Mm-hmm. That's how it is with the work that we do. Some people are going to resonate and some are not, and that's okay. Find the singer that sings it the way you like it to be sung,
Yeah, that you recognize and I guess what speaks to your heart as well. Mm-hmm. And it is that relationship, that therapeutic relationship, is so important. So go with your gut feeling is what I would say when you are looking for somebody, either for coaching for coaching, because we're talking about coaching. And yes, I agree, the right teacher will come as you are ready as well. That's very, very true.
Yes.
Well, thank you, David. I just feel that's literally flown by, but I'm conscious of the fact that we have to run strictly to time, as I promised Big Brother. So how can people get hold of you?
Right now, the best way to reach me is through LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
really the only social media that I'm active on right now.
yeah. And you alluded a little bit to something that you're working on. Just wondered if you'd like to give us a sneaky peek.
Well, I will just say in general terms
You
that
don't have to. I'm
yeah,
teasing. I'm
no,
trying to go, come
generally
on, come
speaking,
on,
I'm
come on.
providing resources to help people to discover their Zen, to go on that journey within.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Hmm.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, because you wouldn't say anything last time.
Yes. Well, there's a little sneaky peek for you.
Thank you. I think sneaky peeks are wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
It's been lovely, and I think more contained, less giddy pants, which is, there's nothing wrong with giddy pants anyway, but I'm just stating the fact. Less of the hysterical giddiness, I think. I think we need to do a part 4 and just keep it rolling. What do you think?
Wow. I'm totally on board with it. I love our talks. And I'm honored that you keep bringing me back. Thank you. That really, it makes me feel good that you keep bringing me back. That's lovely of
I
you.
love it.
And yeah, I love our conversations. The time flies by every time. Yeah,
it does. It's like, oh my gosh, is that it? I don't want to stop now, but I will be respectful of other people's time as well. Thank you again, and I'll come and join you in the green room as I wrap up.
Thanks, Dr. Nupi, and thank you everybody that tuned in today.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. I will definitely bring David on again. Oh, I was just suddenly thinking, oh, I'd love him to do some meditations, is what I was thinking. That'd be really lovely. Anyway, thank you for joining me again this week. And just as a quick reminder, you can find me here every Monday at 8 p.m. GMT, which is 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time. I had to think about that because I kept getting it wrong. And yes, you can get hold of me, direct message me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, all under The Glitter Practitioner. And have an amazing week. I wish you well, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.